Welcome to the Queer Compass. I'm Luis.
I'm Eric, and we're your two gay besties.
And we're here to talk about lifestyle, career, pop culture,
And
everything else. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, Eric. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Oh my gosh.
Living life. Eric, what have you been listening to today?
My music selection today has consisted of Queen Herbie and then a lot of like electro, like upbeat electro music, smiley, fun is what I listen to like while I drive, which is like the majority of where I spend my music listening time.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm one of those that like, you're recently like liked songs on Spotify or whatever.
Yes.
Like when you just recently add them. I just like play those out until I get sick of
Oh
them.
my God, me too.
Yeah,
It's exactly how I do
yeah,
music.
exactly.
Yes.
So I mean, recently it has been like some Dana Paula in there, some of the new Rauw Alejandro. It's been a lot of Latin, I guess. There's this artist called Manuel Turizo, and he does like merengue, bachata, kind of like Latin music, but he is also a beautiful man. So and, like I'm just like really, I've been on his music lately as well. And honestly, like songs from the Barbie soundtrack too.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Dua Lipa, Miss Nicki and Ice Spice, and like I just
so good.
So many good songs on there. Charlie XCX.
The Charlie XCX song I think is my favorite use of a song in a movie.
Yes.
That's like the chase scene. It's like
scene.
like the beat and the melody goes with it. It's like all very kind of hectic, and it like made so much sense when I saw the movie.
Yeah. And it made so much sense. Like it's so Charlie, and it's so perfect for that scene.
Music was a big part of my life as a young person.
Okay.
Too. I remember sitting in church in like the second or first pew, and I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and there was a pianist, and he would rock the house down on the piano.
Oh my gosh,
he was so very good. He did not know how to read music. He only played by ear. I was 8 years old, begged my mom, please let me take piano lessons, please. My mom's like, no, it's so expensive. We can't do it. Like, I was like, no, but please, I want to do it so bad. So I begged and begged. We got like a little electronic keyboard. And then my mom was like, we can talk about getting you a real piano after you take like 2 years of lessons and stay dedicated to it.
I mean, not a bad call. It
was a great call because pianos are freaking expensive.
Yeah.
So I took lessons for 14 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't play the piano anymore. I don't own a piano, but I should. And I've thought about like reintroducing that like practice into my life.
Do you feel like if you got on a piano, you would like remember?
Yeah. So Steve has a piano, so I'll like play at his house. That's how it was like my first obsession with like music in general.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty heavy consumer of music. It affects my mood heavily. It like if I'm at a party and like the playlist is bad, it's like all I can think about, like completely distracted.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah. I love that though. It's such a vibe.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's such an easy like fix. Like all you have to do is click, I want to play this playlist instead of that playlist.
Oh my gosh. Noted.
Did you grow up with music?
I was I did. I mean, I think also for me it was very much just like, every family party had like or like every big get together, I guess. It was always just like music, dancing, family, like literally even if it was just like in the backyard, people would start dancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it was a lot of Latin music, but I think in general that part of just like being social or just like that part of culture and family and all that, music was such a big part of. Yeah. So I definitely think like since day one, music has been ingrained in me. I also know for a fact that my mom always says like I was always dancing and bouncing around even as a little kid,
Yeah.
Which makes so much sense now because then when I got into high school, my friends and I really like, specifically one of my best friends at the time, we just used to always look at music videos. We loved hip hop music. We would always look at music videos and be like, oh my gosh, like how cool would it be to like know how to do that, think Missy Elliott, all that stuff, her dancers are going off and you're just like, and Britney Spears, of course, like her dancers are going off, and I was like, how cool would it be? So we ended up taking dance lessons, and then music became even just a bigger part of my life because it really was everything. Like, I remember the moment that I started learning how to dance, and I remember that moment sitting in my car and being like, I hear music so differently now than I ever did. I was like, I had no idea that this was in music. Like, just all the little things, which I'm sure even learning how to play the piano or any instrument, your ears start to open up and you hear it differently, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to explain someone who is not musical.
Yes.
But yeah, like I'll hear background vocals, background melodies, like
Yeah.
side synthesizers. I tend to hear and pick up, and like when I'm singing a song, it's not always like I'll be like humming the tune of like a side melody or something instead of like. So yeah, I think you do definitely hear things different. When did you start dancing?
Freshman year of high school.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was like at that time 14, I think.
Wow, you started at 14. So you stepped into a scenario where there's like you're surrounded by people who probably started earlier than you, mostly girls.
Yeah, so I mean, because the studio I went to was a purely hip hop studio.
Awesome.
So it wasn't like a traditional studio where, yes, a lot of those girls, mainly girls, but a lot of those students have been taking classes since they were like 3 years old, you know?
Yeah.
Granted, that was still the case with our studio. A lot of those people who went to this hip hop studio did grow up going to like a traditional studio, but not 100% of the people. So that was a little better. But yeah, we just kind of went for it, and it was nice having somebody else who was also your age and at the same level as you. Like, we were both starting from ground zero. So
that's so good. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome.
But yeah, music has, I mean, ever since been just such a big part of my life.
Yeah, you use it at work. I mean, it's everywhere around you.
The funniest thing, actually, so for my dance cardio classes, especially when I want to give them a break in the class, I put in, you can look it up on Spotify. It's a minute of silence. So I put in these minutes of silence for the breaks, or when I'm like breaking down a piece of choreo, right? Like a dance thing or something. And my number one song in 2021 was a minute of silence. I was so sad when I tell you I got my Spotify Wrapped, and I was like, are you joking me right now? I was like, this is so sad. Yeah. So anyways, that was my top song.
That's why I don't like any of the sleep music that I listen to. I cue it up on YouTube because I do not want it messing with my algorithm. I want my Spotify Wrapped to be like accurate, you know?
Yes, I know. And mine is, but it also can be very skewed. So very skewed.
As an adult, has your taste changed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely still a pop girly, that's for sure.
Okay.
Like, I do love now. I mean, I obviously still love Britney, but I mean, Ariana's my girl, you know? I say my same thing though. I feel like whenever I sing to her a lot, your voice, because I have to match her up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, definitely still pop. I think there's a lot of Latin in there, which, I mean, I did grow up with Latin. Like, Selena was a big, big one. And, like, Ricky Martin and things like that I did grow up on. So I think, like, now pop, reggaeton, Latin pop, I think the biggest change was, like, the EDM side of me, you know? What about you?
I'm a bit of the same. So, like, over the course of time, I've still very heavily gravitated towards pop. The pop song, male or female vocalist, sometimes boy band, girl band, whatever. The EDM thing also, I feel like it grew in popularity as I fell in love with it. But I do remember watching Everwood on the WB in probably 2001, 2002. These two kids were like at a house party, and there was a song that was playing in the background, and I was like, what is this song? And I had thankfully VHS recorded it because I was watching that show later. TiVo wasn't a thing, or
Right,
DVR,
right.
I guess now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, all these things aging
All
us.
the things.
But I would watch over and over again. I then would go to log on to AOL type in the lyrics and like hope that someone had like posted the lyrics to this song. I found it, downloaded it on Napster, listened to the song. It's by a DJ named BT. He was like the first DJ I ever fell in love with.
Oh my god.
And I listened to his music a lot. It's very electronic, somewhat experimental, not the classic format of a song, like 8-9 minute songs.
Wow, yeah.
Very closely after that, I fell in love with Cascade, which was like, he's still one of my favorite artists of all time. And then the evolution of that is like Polo and Pan and all these like kind of new disco type of music that I listen to. I listen to a lot of music that doesn't have any words. Some people call it like elevator music. So like while I'm working or doing something else, I'm playing words without music so I can focus on what I'm doing rather than being distracted by lyrics. Because I get very distracted. I want to sing along and dance along.
Yeah. Totally.
So like, elevator music is like good for that scenario. But yeah, so I would say my like adult taste is a good mix of like the pop and then also like background music.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Yeah. Because when I'm working too, I want music in the background or some sound. But I also, well, one, for me, it's like I'm either going to start singing along or I'm going to start choreographing in my head.
Yes.
So like I can't, like I'm be sitting there and I'm just like visualizing and I'm like, my brain goes to another place. So I'm like, I can't do that. So I do need something more chill.
Have you ever in the past choreographed group numbers for like a group?
Like musical group or just like a team?
Like a competition. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you hear music, do you sometimes like, oh my gosh, I see this happening on stage?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It's like a mix of things. Sometimes when I hear music, I see it as like kind of like a concept video. Let's say like if I was to film a dance video or like a music video with like me and two people or something like that, or a bigger group. But like sometimes I visualize it. Sometimes it just comes to me as like, oh, this would be such a cool concept for a video, or this would be a cool group number like on stage, or this would just be a fun piece of choreography that I could teach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's so many different like visuals that could happen, but it's so crazy.
I used to do that in college. I was the dance director for our fraternity, and like I would constantly throughout the year, even when it wasn't time to compete, like constantly choreograph stuff just to like have ready to go when the time comes. But yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling where it's like, oh, I can see this happening on stage.
Isn't it crazy?
But yeah, do you go to concerts? You've been to festivals?
Both, yeah.
Okay.
So growing up, I feel like growing up, I didn't really go to that many concerts.
Same.
Yeah, I didn't really. My first concert I went to, I think that was in high school, right? Yeah. And my oldest sister took my other sister and I, with a friend of hers, to a Juanes concert. That was my first concert ever.
Oh my God, cool.
Oh my gosh, so funny to look back on. But like I hadn't really been to many concerts, and then I didn't really go to many after that until college. But college I started going to more like music festivals.
Okay.
Or I mean, there were so many like being in college in San Francisco, there were so many DJs that would just come and pop in at different like venues and clubs and DJ, and that's kind of how I started getting into the EDM side of things.
Cool.
Because one of my really good friends at the time was very into EDM and started like inviting me to go to these shows, and that's kind of how I got into it. But yeah, it honestly it wasn't sure. I think like a sprinkle in one or two, but concerts wasn't really till later in life for me. What about you?
When I was a kid, we were not concert goers either. Like my first concert was, well, one of my friends invited me to the TRL tour. It was my first concert.
Iconic.
Destiny's Child, Nelly, Eve, Jessica Simpson, Dream. It was Dream.
That's wild.
I don't even know if they toured ever. I mean, not that I needed to see Dream, but it was great.
Yeah,
it was really great, and it was like it was the evening. It was like 4 p.m. until like 10 or whatever.
Wow.
Destiny's Child was the headliner. It was very good, but that and then I went to a Maya concert in high school.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was very good as well. She was excellent.
Oh my gosh.
And those were the only two shows I went to in high school, and I didn't go to live shows in college. It wasn't really a thing. I went to college in a mid-Missouri college town, and then I didn't start going to live music until I had a job in the music industry like regularly, and that was like that's where my heavy consumption of like live music began.
Yeah.
I go to concerts kind of a lot. I love live music.
Yes.
And I love all different types of live music. Like I'll even pick, I love the Fonda in Hollywood. I love the Bellwether closer to downtown. They're like smaller ish venues.
Yeah.
If a show's $25 and I'm like, I don't really know this artist, I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I want to know if I love it. The sound systems there are good. I like the venue. It's easy to get a drink. Rah, rah, rah. I will do that. And like, I don't always stay until the end.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, okay, I tasted the flavor. That's, you know,
yeah.
That's what I needed. But I do go to a lot of live shows, and I go to Lightning in a Bottle. I've been to Coachella too.
Right,
I've been to Bonnaroo. I guess I festival.
Okay.
I do some
Yes.
festivaling.
Yeah. That's a really cool take on it though, because I feel like, I mean, living with you now and seeing that approach, like it's inspiring me to not only like, I guess my mentality was always, oh, you go if you like the artist or if there's like a big reason to, but like even I haven't really been to a lot of venues here in LA, and I'm like, it's cool to just even go and check them out because there's so many venues in LA.
So many.
And so many cool ones. Like I did go to the Greek, which I was like, this is so cool. It's like outdoor. It's the vibe is so different. And then what is that one? I saw Ariana at...
It was at the Forum.
The Forum. Yeah, the Forum. So yeah, but I feel like in LA those are probably like the only two that I've been to. Yeah, I mean, I just know there's like SoFi, there's the YouTube Theater, there's there's so many venues in LA.
And like the YouTube Theater is brand new. I have not been to a show there. I'm seeing Kim Petras in November. I can't wait to hear what the sound is like, because I've heard that the sound system is like so good.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
But yeah, like Fonda, some of the smaller ones, like even the Troubadour down the street, like in my mind, because I used to be like, am I going to go to a concert on a Wednesday night? That sounds like such a big to do. No, what I'm doing is I'm going to the Troubadour on a Wednesday night to have 2 beers, and a band that I kind of like is also going to be playing, and I'm paying a $25 cover to see them. Yeah. That's kind of how I like look at it. So I'm like, it doesn't feel as big. Yeah. Because if I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to dress up, I got to do all these things, you know, like I have to go with people. I've been to concerts by myself so many times. Too. Like Cascade performed on a Tuesday night randomly one time. His show started at 9. He didn't go on. I think it was like 12:30 or 1. Oh, he was on until like 3. But I stayed. I was like, I'm staying to see him, and no one went with me. I like, you know, you make friends with people there. People are cool. Like, you know.
I love that part about it though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and festivals. I feel like, I mean, I know this answer, but what's your favorite?
Oh my God, Lightning in a Bottle. Hands down is my favorite festival. Yeah. It's like 1 part music, 1 part art and interactivity, 1 part culture and learning. So there's like workshops during the day, yoga, meditation, sound baths, cooking classes, art things going on. There's artwork installations that they do that you can like climb on, and it's a very some of them are very like Instagrammable. And then the music portion, so it's like jam bands during the day, chill stuff, and then like nighttime it really turns up, especially on Friday and Saturday. Like the EDM, it's like cranks, like a kind of different crowd comes. So you can tell it's like more energetic. It's smaller, it's like 37,000 people. Whereas like Coachella is like 250,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Lightning in a Bottle, I just love stumbling. Okay, I'm going to go. We're here. We're going to listen to 2 songs. Okay, I'm not feeling it. Let's go over here. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my gosh, there's an opera singer over here. Like, you know, like all these like crazy wild. Yeah. It's so much fun to experience music that way.
Yeah, that definitely seems like an experience.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than just the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then festivals or live shows.
I can already feel myself like craving more Lightning in a Bottle style things. And I'm like, there's some like imitators doing some other like mini things like similar to Lightning in a Bottle. And I'm like, I think I might have to just taste it and try it. Yeah. Because I'm already craving more. I'm trying to simulate it with this like very busy concert schedule I have this summer and fall. Like we're going to like 11 shows. It's so silly. It is not the same. Yeah. You know, to go to a concert on a weeknight and have to be up at 8 o'clock for work. Yeah. Versus going for 4 or 5 days to a show, you can stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning and then wake up leisurely the next day and like do it all over again.
And also you wake up with like the community of people that are there for the same reason. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing. It's like a whole environment that you're in for those 4 to 5 days. So yeah, it's so different.
I even had a hard time telling who was gay and who was straight. Like everyone was being so very themselves and like wearing such crazy fun clothing, and like people come up with different names for themselves for the week. Like cool. It's all it's so self-expressive. I highly recommend.
Oh my gosh,
so
that's
good.
So cool.
You should come sometime.
I know.
You
It
really
always,
should.
every time you talk about it, it just sounds like such an experience. I mean, like, it definitely seems different. I've done, like, you know, Coachella, EDC,
cool.
and a lot of the Insomniac ones, too. But I've never, like, that just seems so on a different end of things, which is cool.
How is EDC? I've never been.
Really fun. So I've been to it both as just like an attendee, and then for a long time I was working with Insomniac as a dancer. So I would do their Vegas one. I know. They had like a whole, it's so funny. I remember, I think this was this before I moved to LA? No, I think it was after I moved to LA. Anyways, my friend was like, they're having auditions downtown. You go downtown, they have a whole audition process. I made it. So then we got hired. You do like different character, you like get dressed up as different things, you know, like the first year I was like a bee for the first, like for the weekend or whatever, and this was at the Vegas one. But basically it's really fun because for the most part it's a lot of freestyling, so it's kind of free range, and you get to jump stages. Like they kind of, you have somebody taking your group, and you go from stage to stage, but like you're on stage with like DJs that I just would not have, like Galantis. I was on stage with Galantis one time. Cascade was there. Like, you know, just all these people that you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just doing a 30-minute freestyle session with this person. And like the crowd is amazing, obviously, because everyone's so hype. And it's obviously the stimulation of everything, you know, everything's so set up. It's beautiful. The lights, all of it is just so wild. So it's a really, really fun. It was a really, really fun gig to do. And I did their Vegas one a couple times. I did Mexico with them, and I did Japan, and they're all just so different. Yeah,
I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
So cool.
Mexico City was really fun. They get rowdy. It's like a good time. It actually did start like for a quick moment, but it started like raining on us, and then all of a sudden it like stopped. But it was a very like random. All of a sudden we're like, oh my god, it's raining. Japan was really, really cool because they had all their stages, but they had one stage set up like right at Tokyo Bay. So it was essentially like at the beach, and it was like on the sand. People were like in the water coming out. There was the stage there. It was wild. It was so fun. It was so cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so you're dressed up as a bee for the whole weekend.
Essentially, yeah.
And then, so like, do people like run into you and be like, oh my god, you're the bee guy?
Yeah. And also, it's just funny, obviously, seeing the beginning to that, because at the beginning they're like, oh my god, this is so cute, what a cute outfit, and at the end they're like, oh my god, can I take a picture with you, can I feel your shirt, because it was like a fuzzy shirt. And I'm like, the best part is, because I had been, before working it, I had been as an attendee, so you know it goes till sunrise. Like, you watch the sunrise set, and then you're like, all right, we're gonna make our way back. When you're just working it, you're like done at 6 a.m. or whatever time it is, and you're in a golf cart. They're taking you back to like the dressing room, and you just see everyone walking out of the, like the people that are left walking out of the venue, and you're like, oh my gosh, I must have looked insane. Day 3 at the end, oh my god, don't even get me started.
Oh my god,
so funny though.
Do you prefer concerts or festivals?
I mean, I've done majority festivals. I've really seen, I mean, the people I have seen in concert are people that I love. Like, I did see Kehlani in concert, and like, you know, but so I definitely think I do tend to lean more to the festival side, but that's also just because I love the vibe. Like, I love frolicking, like especially Coachella. That I remember the first time I went, I was like frolicking everywhere. You're just going to see, like, there's so many different artists at Coachella, like types of music, you know, that it is kind of fun to have that all in one, and you can pick and choose. But there's also like, activities you can do, and sometimes you're just like hanging out with your friends, and like, it's just, I love the environment of a festival.
Which festival is your favorite?
I would probably say Coachella. I think that's one that we tend to do pretty much every year now.
Okay.
And I know it's like there's so much like overhype around it, or like, you know, people say it's like so hyped up and stuff. But I think it's just one. I've been to both weekend 1 and weekend 2. I think I do enjoy weekend 2 a little more.
Yes. Oh my God, me too.
Yeah, just because it's a little more chill. People really are there for the music and like all that stuff. You know, I totally get the hype around weekend 1, and also you're the first one to see everything. But I really do enjoy weekend 2, to be honest.
Yeah. I did have a really good time last time at Coachella. The first time I went, I was like, this is too much. We did it a second time, and we sort of did it our way, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
I would probably go back. I feel like the only truly big artist who has not yet done Coachella is Taylor Swift.
Well, and you know, somebody was just saying, who was telling me, don't quote me on this is totally word of mouth, but a Swiftie, okay, was saying that like she has that time of Coachella, like she doesn't have any tour dates, but also people were like, well, maybe she also is just taking like that's her break time or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it could be that she is, but again, do not quote me on that. This is purely word of mouth. But I agree, because I was like trying to think like, okay, who hasn't done it that is like at the top right now?
Beyonce's done it. There's been a lot of like big Billie Eilish.
Yeah, Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
I did see her actually. That was kind of an unexpected surprise, because I know her music, but I've never like seen her live or seen videos of her. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a, you know, huge fan that I have seen her live.
Yeah.
But I do like her music, and I was kind of curious because, you know, a lot of her music is kind of mellow.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna be. Not last year, but the year before, maybe.
It was, yeah. It was two Coachellas
years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we randomly were like, just happened to somehow get pushed into a pretty good spot, and she had like the stage, and then she had like the runway, and on the runway she actually spent a lot of time on that runway.
Yeah.
And like she got lifted up and stuff, so we were like right underneath the runway, and I was like,
oh my God.
wow. I was like, this is actually a really great like position to be in. But also she was really good about like just bringing the energy. It was just her.
Yeah.
It was just her on this massive stage. So like from afar, you see the projection, but from afar I was like, oh my God, she's so little. Like she's so cute. But she has such a personality on stage.
Yeah.
Like one, when she's talking, she's just so like charismatic and natural and whatever. And two, like with her music, she really does just bring the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really like, go off, girl.
Yeah.
It was great.
Coachella does do, especially at the main stage, a really good job of making you feel like you're not that far away.
Yeah.
Because you are really far away. Like we were seeing Megan Thee Stallion, and I was like, where is she? I didn't know where they were actually at on the stage, because I was like, you're so far away. They are this big,
they're so small.
but the screens are so big. There's pillars of speakers throughout the field, so you don't feel like you're like getting bad audio. There's also like for the nighttime shows, colored lighting and programmed lighting on those pillars of speakers, so it feels like a little dance club. You feel like you're included in the whole thing, no matter where you're standing in the field. I think they do a really awesome job of like scaling a show really, really large.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have to, knowing how many people are going to come, right?
Yeah.
Especially because, like, the year that Beyonce did it, oh my God, it was the biggest crowd I've ever seen in my life. Because at like 90% of the festival was there to see Beyonce, you know? So, like, or people that just came for Saturday purely to see Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know? So it was really, I remember that one was like, insane. We were like probably somewhere in the middle, obviously, but like I remember looking back and being like, oh, it never ends. Like there's literally people everywhere. And I remember my friend at that moment, one of the friends we were with, he was like, does anyone want water? I'm gonna go get us water. And we were like, do not leave. Like you are never gonna be able to find us again. And he's like, no, I got this. He left, maybe like 20-30 minutes later, found us in the crowd.
No.
I was like, how did you do that? One, I know for a fact there's no service in this crowd. Two, we don't have like, we're not holding like a pole or anything. Like what? How did you find us?
I do have a random question before we go.
Go.
Do you like Christmas music?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think in the season.
Yeah, of course.
In the season, I do. I think it kind of is fun. I mean, I definitely there's like the modern day version of Christmas music, you know, or like
Yeah.
the more modern songs, I guess.
Yeah.
I still like the old school, like the traditional.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I do tend to play, you know, some Mariah, some Ariana, like some of
Okay.
their Christmas music. But I do enjoy Christmas music. Do you?
Christmas and Chill is probably my number one played Christmas. It's so short.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
it's like
is that-
Christmas and Chill was like 5 songs, and I think they released it as like a last minute, like, oh, we're gonna put this together.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
On Spotify?
Yeah, Christmas and Chill. It's like it's like 5 songs. It's Ariana's like little.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like one of those playlists. Okay, gotcha.
Oh
gotcha.
no, yeah,
I see
it's
what you mean.
Ariana's like
Yes.
album.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
mini
okay.
album, whatever.
Yeah.
Of those 5 songs, and so I listened to it over and over and over and over and over.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Also, I do listen to like the classic like Carpenter's Christmas, like very traditional. We listen to while we open presents at home, and like you know,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do tune into some of the pop. Wrapped in Red, Kelly Clarkson is a great Christmas album.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Kelly has some really good. Yeah. Some good holiday music.
Yeah.
I live for it.
Yeah, but I do like Christmas music. I know some people who like really hate it.
Yeah.
But I do like it.
It's just like it's
Gets me in the
getting in the
mood.
spirit.
Before we go, what do you think your top 5 or top 3 will be for this year? I feel like Polo and Pan will be in my
Okay.
top 3 again. I think MKX will be in my top 3 again. And probably Rev. She's the Canadian pop. She'll like do a single every 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. I definitely think Blackpink is probably going to be up there.
Oh yeah.
Because I was already a fan, so I was so excited to see them at Coachella. And then after Coachella, I went even harder. I like was already obsessed. I got so obsessed. I was playing that on repeat after Coachella. So definitely probably Blackpink. I would say probably Rauw Alejandro because he came out with an album. We saw him on tour, and then he dropped another album. So I've been playing that album as well.
Cool.
So I feel like it's just probably gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Well, not the only, but the next person that comes to mind is probably Dana Paola.
I was gonna say you have been saying her name kind of a lot lately.
Yeah. So I've definitely been on a kick for her too. I feel like those are probably like the 3 right now that I can, off the top of my head, say will
Cool.
probably be in there.
Okay, I can't wait to look back and see if we're right.
I know. We'll see if we're right.
Okay, see you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.